respond today?
Oh, great. That was a really good practice. That was one of our better ones today. They came out with a little bit of passion, some energy behind themselves, locked in. You can tell when we do our pre-practice walkthrough, right, how guys are communicating how practice is going to be, right? Are they using hand signals? Are they screaming? Are they communicating? Or are they just saying the call, right? Tuesday, we just said the call. Today, we actually communicated.
Looks like the defense, it's just getting more and more comfortable with the system. When you're seeing, obviously, full-team group, what are you seeing from the defense and how they've grown so far this spring?
Flying around the ball, disguising things really well for this early. And I think it's just a testament to the guys working and having belief in what we're doing. I think our guys believe in this. They believe in the process. They believe in the scheme. And I think you can see them buying into it.
What does it say about this team when you kind of call them out last practice, say it wasn't a good practice, and then they respond and have a good one today?
Yeah, for me, it's all about just telling people the truth. That's what I tell my guys. Like, don't ask me a question you don't want the truth. Like, if you come into my office and ask me why something is not going your way, be ready for me to tell you the why, not what you want to hear, right? This isn't happiness camp. We're going to have a lot of fun working really, really hard. But at the end of the day, we're going to be very direct. So when we have a bad day, they need to know it's a bad day. They need to know why it's a bad day. And they need to understand if we don't fix it, right, then we're going to have a lot of bad days come fall.
Kenny, including Sean's experience last year, you have 3 guys who have been head coaches at this level. What is that like helping you? And then what do you think about some of the younger guys on your staff, like Samples, up and coming?
No doubt. I think we have a staff full of guys who could be head coaches. When you think of Coach Samples, this is a guy who's been an assistant head coach in college football by the time he was 26. He's been a position coach, the youngest position coach in the NFL. This guy will be the youngest head coach in college football someday. It will happen. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to be. He's ready for it. He could go run a program today. Right? I don't know if somebody's going to hire somebody that young. They think I'm young. But if somebody did, they could hire him today. He could go run a football program.
But what is it about him that makes that the case?
He's a young dude, but he has a presence. He has leadership. He's not a young dude that every day kids walk over him. It's a young dude who has kids in the meeting 10 minutes early. It's a guy who is hard on guys. It's a guy who has a standard. Everybody thinks young and they think, oh, that means that there's no standard, there's no discipline, right? You're just one of the new era people, right? His dad's one of the best coaches in high school football and is old school. So I would say Coach Samples is a young dude with an old school mentality.
On that note, a guy like Stephen Miller, what have been your first impressions of him as a coach?
I've known Steve for a while. I helped recruit him. He's passionate. He cares about this place, and I think he's learning his role. So I think he's going out there and he's kind of grabbing kids one-on-one and playing off of Coach Saga, because I think that's what good staffs do. Good staffs don't hire duplicates of themselves, right? We don't need 15 Kenny Dillinghams acting crazy out there, right? We need one, and then we need one Charlie Regal. We need one Sean Aguano. We need one him, right? We need one of just who you are. And if you're just genuinely who you are as a coach every single day, right, we have enough personalities, enough different people that we're going to find somebody to get a player to respond to.
I know every practice, every spring is important, but is this one even more important because there's so much newness, new coaches, new players, new scheme, everything?
Yeah, for me, it's every single day. Every day is important. Everything you do is important, right? Success in this program is just being the very best at whatever you're doing right now. So whatever we're doing all the time, if you're not being your very best, then you're not successful. It's that simple. It's not what our goal is, what are the expectations, what do we want to win. It's not that. It's every single day show up, and whatever you're doing in life, be the very best. If I'm holding the door, I'm going to hold the door until everybody walks in the door. I'm not going to let somebody else take it halfway and hold the door for somebody. I'm going to hold it till the entire crew of people walk in, because that's just what I believe in. If you're competitive and if you believe in compete and believe in being a good person, then you compete in everything you do. I'm not going to let somebody else hold the door. I'm going to do it.
You had Javen Jacobs at running back today. What do you think about just his skill or what he brings?
Yeah, he's thick and versatile. He was a 1,000-yard back in high school, ran for 1,000 yards. So we've had a few guys dinged up at that position. So he has the versatility to do that. And in college football nowadays, substitutions allow match subs. The rule changed about 15 years ago. So if you sub, they can match your sub. So you always want to play with people that I call are hybrids. Guys that can play wide out, guys that can play running back, guys that can play tight end, guys that can play wide out, right? The more of those guys you have on the field, the more versatility you have on the field, which means more advantages that you can scheme to based off of your defensive personnel. So I think he can be one of those guys that can kind of give us an advantage based off personnel.
When Mike Norvell was here, we saw a lot of two backs out of DJ Foster. How much of that do you think is capable with the personnel?
Yeah, I definitely think we can do that. We haven't got to that yet this spring, but I definitely think we have enough guys to do that, and we will do that. It's just ironic. They're both from Arizona. They're both number 8. So that's kind of ironic. There's a photo of them. I think him when he was 7, 8 years old out here with DJ wearing number 8, and now he's playing the same position DJ played for the first half of his career here. Pretty cool.
Coach, I know it's early, but if you could pick one player that's really taken your eye over this camp, who would you pick?
Yeah, I'm not going to pick one player. I'm going to pick a position group that's really stood out. I think the DBs and the wideouts, I think we're pretty skilled. I think we have the talent, to match up with people outside. I think that's definitely a strength of who we are. And I think the competitive nature, fire breeds fire. And when those guys have energy and passion versus each other to win a one-on-one, to lose a one-on-one, it only makes you better. And I think you've seen that out of that group, those groups.
What about Guillory in particular? Number 1.
Yeah, I mean, he makes plays every day. It's a very simple game, make plays. All the scheme, everything that matters. At the end of the day, we go and take the field with 11 people. One person is going to be throwing the ball or handed the ball, and everybody else is going to have a role in the play. Do you consistently win your one-on-one? Whether it's zone, whether it's man, it's a game of one-on-ones. Our job is to create the best numbers, leverage, and grass in those one-on-ones. That kid just continually wins his one-on-one, and there's something to be said about that.
You seem to have a lot of capability with your edge players. This team pass rushing last year was a bit of an issue. What impresses you about that group and what you're able to kind of do with them in blitz packages and things like that?
Yeah, they're athletic, and I think in this scheme, this is a scheme. If you're a defensive end in the country, you want to come here to play defensive end. There's not a better place in the country to play defensive end than here. I scheme versatile. I've been on the other side versus this team. You do not want to play these defensive ends in this scheme. They attack, they attack, they attack, they attack, they attack. And when you have athletes that are constantly on the attack, they're not reacting as much as they have a plan to attack and impact the quarterback. That's what every defensive end wants to do in the country when he's recruited, and that's our philosophy. And it's really hard on a quarterback, really hard on the O-line, because it just limits what you can do offensively. Are there some negatives to it? Yes. But you know what? If our negatives are we're too aggressive, I'm going to sleep just great at night.